Blog Talk Radio.
Greetings, greetings, greetings. It is another edition of Revolutionary Hoodoo, New Orleans Voodoo Secrets and Recipes. All is truly and indeed a blessing. If you can just see beyond the veils, for it is all just an illusion and a test in one of the greatest divine mysteries of this life cycle. This is my constant prayer, my mantra, affirmation, reverberation, reiteration, and it is my ever-living reality. Join me now on Blog Talk Radio at www.blogtalkradio.com, www.blog.the-divine-prince. It is scrolling now across the bottom of your screen. For my viewers, for my listeners, it is www.blogtalkradio.com/the-divine-prince. And certainly you can call me now at area code 515-605-9718. 515-605-9718. I'll be more than happy to unmute your mic and bring you into the conversation. Just press that number 1 on your telephone keypad. Greetings and salutations, one and all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Neophyte Bokor, I'm certainly grateful for your continued support, love, and attendance to the podcast. Welcome my Blog Talk Radio international audience from all over the world. I'm certainly grateful for you to the US, to Canada, the UK, Australia, and the DR Congo for being in my top 5 listening audience regions. But I'm certainly grateful for each and every one who takes the time out of the middle of their day to be present here for the Power Lunch. Revolutionary Hoodoo, New Orleans Voodoo Secrets and Recipes. All is truly and indeed a blessing. Welcome, welcome. Come on in. The fire is hot. The water is a-boiling. It's time to put something into this pot. Greetings, greetings, one and all. Come on in. Come on in. I know sometimes adjustment is not easy. Sometimes change is difficult when we struggle against change. But be open in this moment to a new way of seeing things, a new way of doing things, a new way of conveying information. Understanding the Prince can no longer do 2-hour, 3-hour podcasts. Yes, to an inactive and quiet chat room. Can't do it anymore. 30 minutes. I will be with you, beloved, for 30 minutes only, and then I will be moving forward. I'm welcoming house guests today. I'm welcoming clients and new godchildren today. The work is moving forward. The work is moving forward. Are you paying attention to the weather? Are you paying attention to the astrology? Are you paying attention to the news, to the economy, to the housing, to the food? Wake up, my children. Come forward into this present moment. Stay with me in this present moment. It's time to elevate. It's time to rise higher to a higher vibration in this present moment in time space. Divine all blessing. Eshu Alegbuana Kosi Were Awo Unlo Uto Ne Iwo Ada Afan Bo Osi O Batalami Itani Epo Anilio Abade Shu. Eshu is the respected elder who flogs, confronts, uncovers fools. That one versed in mysteries uses truth to own you. He causes scatter, defeat poverty. Obatala shakes rascals to have sacrifice. The owner of warnings is the one who is Eshu. Aboru, Aboye, Aboshishe, Ashe. May our Ebo reach a room. May our Ebo be accepted. May our Ebo indeed allow what we desire to come to pass. And so we say, Ashe and Asheo. Greetings and salutations, one and all. Thank you so much, Craig Burns, for your consistency and support of the show. Certainly, Neophyte Bokur, I'm grateful, forever grateful for your consistent love, support, and attendance. And indeed, you all represent, to some degree, my core listening audience, those who've been with me for some time, those who've adapted to my style of teaching and sharing information. Greetings to Goddess Initiative, certainly those who represent my godchildren and my clients often show up consistently and without fail to my podcast. Whether I'm here or not here, whether I'm doing 30 minutes, whether I'm doing 2 hours. And I certainly want to speak to that just a little bit more today. Um, Today is Friday the 13th, 2022, and I am emanating and vibrating with you and for you now live, virtually, verbally, cosmically, quantum universally from this working temple of the house of the Divine Prince. Thai Potions, Hoodoo Central, in this legendary, historic, beautiful, and most enchanted city in America, New Orleans, Louisiana, the land of my ancestors and those who came before me along this hoodoo Obeah life path and journey, passing down the great Obeah stick, along with the knowledge of the life-giving herbs, roots, plants, rituals, spirits, and indeed minerals. And as my beloved Denise Augustine would say, our sacred stories, our sacred stories. So please do take the time to stop and jot down the link to like, follow, and subscribe at youtube.com/voodoo Thai, V like Victor, OO, D like David, OOTYE, and certainly blogtalkradio.com/the hyphen divine hyphen prince. My live listening and call-in number for 30 minutes only is area code 515-605-9718. 515-605-9718. All is truly and indeed a blessing if you can just see beyond the veils. For it is all just an illusion, my children, and a test of one of the greatest divine mysteries of this life cycle. I'm certainly wanting to maintain my theme, my rhythm, if you will, that we've been sharing over the last few days. The concept of mother, father, sky, while at the same time sharing how to live your best life. And indeed, the stories from Kemet and ancient Egypt that we shared on yesterday speak to a shift in energy, speak to a shift in the dynamic of humanity, speak to a shift where society moves from the worship of the Divine Mother to the worship of the Divine Father, while inadvertently, while inadvertently applying some technology on the masses in terms of the power and abilities, not just of men or of women or of defined genders individually and uniquely, but indeed created a binary system that comes with a list of ideas of what a man should be and what a man looks like and what a man should act like and how a man should feel. And same with indeed women. In the ancient world, understanding that God is a woman and birth humanity, birth creation, demonstrated symbolically by the Egyptian deity Nut or Neat, NT or NUT, and man representing Earth. Now, when we look at the five-pointed star, we are conceptualizing the elements: earth, water, fire, air, mind, or ether, and spirit. And indeed, humanity, the human form. We are seeing woman, the creator of humanity, giving birth to humanity. One head, two arms, two legs, okay, and a body. And in the sixth pointed star, we see an ascension, if you will, of man into a place where the masculine and feminine are again unified in its spiritual form, in its most purest forms. And understand, masculine, feminine, masculine must be hard, must be a little bit absent of emotion, must hold the family and the world together, must build and construct and organize and all these earth based symbolisms, while at the same time making God to be not only male, but a white, old, bearded male with the blonde, blue eyed son who comes and, i.e., saves humanity, saves creation, if you will, but by spiritual means, while denying the Divine Mother, while bastardizing the Divine Mother, while appropriating the Divine Mother. Indeed, the story of Lilith, the original Eve, Lilith, okay, represents a woman of great power, strength, control, autonomy, individuality, creativity, not willing to be passive, not willing to submit, not willing to be confined, if you will. And that story was almost but erased from humanity and replaced with an Eve, an Earth Mother Eve, who was demonstrated as being somehow passive, but maternal and nurturing and giving and loving, but not necessarily in control, not necessarily the head, not necessarily the boss. And for those of us who are paying attention to the sky, who pay attention to astronomy and astrology, understand that the times are shifting. Indeed, we are in a new dispensation, if you don't quite remember. I remember a lot of hype around 2000 and Y2K and people's computers shutting down and the Mayan mythology around the end of the world, or the end of the world and a recreation, if you will, of a new world. And people expect that to happen, I guess, overnight, in a weekend, in 24 hours, in a year. I don't know, but we are now 22 into this new consciousness, this new way of being. And I like to quickly say this information is not new. You know, it's sometimes, I don't know, I'm just going to be 100 with you. It gets stuck in my cross sometimes when, I kind of see the videos and the folks who think it's so brand new, and they're putting it in such eloquent, poetic, music and mastery and color and imagery, indeed to suggest its newness and its freshness and its relevancy to a younger audience. And younger is not always age. Younger is sometimes, new in the spiritual journey to this information, considering we live in a society, particularly here in the West, where this information was not as readily available in 1960, 1950, 1940. The 60s brought on this free love, this hippie era, this time of enlightenment and the coming of the age of the Aquarius, and it was a trend. It was trendy. It was fashionable. It was in the mood of the day. It was on par for the day. And yes, there was that percentage that held on to that and planted those seeds into those children born into the 70s. And we started using language like crystal children and amethyst children for these children born in the early 90s. in the mid 90s. The language started to transform to match the progression of energy, the progression of evolution on the planet, and the progression of the mindsets of the people willing to hear the message. So there's always this game of catch up that we're playing with reality, the truth, and then the illusion, and the illusion as it's filtered through various prisms. Understanding that illusion is not always meant to, suggest something negative or something bad. Understand optics and how our eyes work. Understand the dynamics of how our brain retranslates information. It is indeed an illusion. It's a quantum metaphysical illusion. And again, I've been teaching this for decades. It was taught to me back in the 70s, but somehow you have a, tech savvy demographic that somehow thinks that this is new and this is revolutionary. Farrakhan talked about extraterrestrials and aliens. Elijah Muhammad talked about extraterrestrials and aliens and advancements in consciousness and humanity. But they were ahead of their time. They were ahead of their time and often bastardized for it, often sought after by government systems for it. And in a time where there wasn't easy, ready access to the internet, there wasn't ready access to a device in everyone's hand. It was a completely different playground to share and transmute information to the mass communities. We had more book writers, we had more writers, we had more authors, we had more poets in the 60s and the 70s. Uh, Not just because we were in that frequency, but that was the technology of the day. And that went on to wax, that became cassettes, that became digital material that ultimately fed a larger group of people, a larger um, populace. And so today we have digital technology, and certainly we must acknowledge hip hop for really being the disseminators of information in modern times. I still think it's overlooked to what degree of power. And it's overlooked by you, it's overlooked by us, it's overlooked by our community. What degree of power still is in the hands of rappers in the hip hop community who are able to disseminate information in large numbers to the masses. While little old me, works to teach on a much personal level, on a much more intimate level. But certainly, there's not a whole lot of intimacy to me speaking for 2 hours, 3 hours, and not interacting, not getting the traditional Aboriginal indigenous feedback from the community. And so I'll only be here from 12 noon to 12:30 U.S. Central Standard Time, and I pray that you continue. Certainly, people are continuing to listen and enjoy in the archive, but I am not here to offer free Wit School 101, and certainly not to receive acknowledgement for it, not to receive credit for it. Certainly, that credit and acknowledgement is being marked where it is most important. But certainly, this avenue of communication requires some back and forth. So I get a lot more communication in TikTok. I get a lot more communication in and Instagram. I get a lot more back and forth response and other formats of media today. So my godchildren, my visitors will receive this. My initiates will receive this. My callers will receive the 2 hours of instruction and detailed bibliographies and where do I find that and how do I better understand that for myself. We live in a day today that feeds off sound bites, 30 seconds or less, 60 seconds or less. If it's 3 minutes, it's got to be damn good. You know, if it's 10 minutes, you better be giving away something, and that's fine. That's fine. I'm adapting. I'm transforming. I'm evolving. I'm elevating my craft to meet the needs of the moment, but also not to neglect the needy and continue to feed the greedy. That I can't do. Greetings, compassion, and mercy. Welcome, beloved. Absolutely, it's a new era of human abilities. Absolutely. And we are transcending old systems of power and control and hierarchy and masculinity and toxic, abuse of power. We're transcending. I've been saying since, I don't know, before Hurricane Katrina, that the internet would be the great equalizer. It's like having your own media outlet, your own radio station, your own TV station, your own school, your own, means of connecting with not just your community, but the world. And it fascinates me how we tend to interact with just those that we think we know, think we understand, think agree with us, think share our opinions in social media, and how predictable that is to people who would otherwise seek to harm you. And in this in this day of AI, it can be anybody. It could be anybody. Michael Jackson said it could be black, it could be white, it could be. Michael Jackson tried to tell you, tried to tell you, okay? Michael Jackson tried to tell us a lot of things, you know. And so how we are digesting information is very different today. And so how we disseminate information must evolve, must must change. And so I'm grateful to you all for being present, for sitting here with me for 30 minutes at high noon, US Central Standard Time. I know sometimes people resist change. I know sometimes people resist, the new, the revolutionary new ideas, you know, but your advertisers, your product pushers, you know, they get it, and you all seem to buy into it. So I, I don't get it. I don't get it. And so I'm evolving. You all want candles from me with my imagery on it. I get it. You all want sage bundles with my prayers and my blessing on it. I get it. It's coming. You all want coffee mugs and T-shirts and uh, weekend magical kits that I can ship out to you in the mail. I know it's coming. You all want cute memes and jiffies, that last 30 seconds or less, or a minute or under, that can be viral and shared and reshared. I get it. It's coming. It's in the works. Indeed, what I do here is who I am. It comes natural to me. The new stuff, that's my challenge. That's my weakness. So I'm doing it live on air. I'm doing it live on camera. I'm showing you what adjustment looks like. I'm showing you what change looks like. I'm showing you what a willingness to adapt looks like. And I pray that you enjoy the ride. I pray that you stay with me for the ride. Indeed, if I'm going to produce a viable TV production, I got to have rest and I got to have some time away from doing 2 or 3 hour podcasts a day in the middle of the day. So I know some of you are not happy. I can tell by the timing. Some of you are not adjusting, and I get it. I get it. I pray you'll meet me here at midnight for midnight meditations, which has been going well. I pray you'll meet me at 8 a.m. for the morning coffee. That's been going great. I hear you, Goddess Initiative, beloved. Here. I'm here for you as an elder to give knowledge, to give wisdom. I just can't do it in a quiet room anymore. I just can't. I just can't. It takes too much work for me to even stop to read this constantly scrolling chat and then pick out the greetings from the comments, from from the questions that are relative to the material I might be talking about in a day. Don't have a consistent moderator. I can't do it and stay on topic with my material. And then when I am staying on topic with my material, the time goes by. And then it's an hour, and then it's 2 hours, and I'm missing my lunch, and I'm not hydrating, and I'm not taking care of me. And at the end of the day, it's not paying off to do it in this format, to do it in this forum. So I'm pulling it back. And those who are benefiting the most from it are your instant overnight wannabe witches and practitioners. And all of a sudden you are Babalawo and Ianifa when I still got screenshots of your social media from 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. But that's who you all are supporting with your likes, with your loves, with your subscriptions in the numbers. Now, let's be clear. I'm not upset about it. Not at all. And numbers don't equate to dollars. Let's keep it 100. Some of these tarot profiles, these psychic reader profiles, these witchy profiles got 50,000 followers. But I know from experience, from doing this since Hurricane Katrina, that don't mean anybody is spending a dime with them. That doesn't mean anybody's doing anything more than purchasing your $3, sage bundles and your $5 packs of incense. Okay, and it takes a whole lot of selling that from a retail business perspective to say that it's profitable. And that's why some of my good people, who I'm not going to mention right now by name, who got 50,000 followers, 100,000 followers, but they advertise in products that they don't even use, products that have nothing to do with them. They're selling for other folk. They're being bought and sold. And they have to push 5 videos a day. They got to sell those products. They have to keep your attention. They have to maintain those numbers. I know what I'm talking about. Do your research. Anybody who's anybody, I'm not talking about anybody with a public face.
90 seconds.
Like your Angela Bassett, your Will Smiths, your Oprahs. I'm talking about anybody who's anybody behind the scenes in the music industry, in the movie industry, in the TV industry, directors, producers, check writers, hirers of staff, often ain't got no followers or less than 100 or 200. I've told y'all before, I know a multi-millionaire,
60 seconds.
200 followers, and y'all don't even see her. I know book writers, book authors, prominent in Hoodoo, Voodoo, root work, conjure, 300 followers. Y'all don't even see them. Y'all see what's glossy. Y'all see what's quick. Thank you, Neophyte Bokur. You see the microwave sound bites, which are designed to be addictive, and you love it. And you love it. Thank you, Compassion and Mercy. We indeed have arrived. The gods have arrived. The Savior that you're waiting to return, we are here. But we can't force your hand.
10 seconds.
I can't come in and unplug your TV. I can't turn off the nonsense that you're thumbing and keyboarding every day. I can't do that for you. I can't take the fast food out of your mouth. I can't slap the cigarette out of your hand. I can't, grab your 40 ounce and throw it up against the wall. Oh, I could, but I'd be spending and wasting a lot of energy. Would I not? Would I not? And so for me to keep doing a 2-hour podcast without being preachy would be hard to do. And see, this younger crowd, this microwave crowd, and that includes some older folks now, y'all don't like me to be too preachy unless it's entertaining. But is it entertaining when I start calling you out on your stuff, wannabe practitioner? When I start calling you out on your stuff, client, who thinks I can somehow magically heal your children's mental health and addictive issues without you doing anything, without hearing from you for days, without you acknowledging, getting up on a white day like this and acknowledging your ancestors and your own head and your own creative power in this. But we got time to punch the clock. You got time to shop and buy what's not needed, what's not useful, what's not healthy, what your kids is going to throw to the side. But you got time for that. And you invest in that. So when you're here in the house, I give you what I got to give you. I give you what spirit would have me to give you. I give you what has helped me to this place that some of you covet. Why I'm on PBS, why I'm on the History Channel, why I'm on the Travel Channel. Some of you covet. Okay. Do the work. But the work ain't quick. The work ain't easy. The work ain't microwave. And the work will create an environment where only the strongest survive. Only the most committed endure. The most committed of my godchildren still here. Been here 30 years, 40 years, 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, a year, whenever they made that connection with me. But quick fix, easy fix. Oh no, I don't want to look at my shadow. Oh no, I don't want to have to address me. There's something outside of me, quick, fast, in a hurry that you can do. Your gynecologists don't work magic like that. Your dentists don't work magic like that. Your financial advisors don't work magic like that. Yet you all have agreed, because it's an agreement, to exist in an interdimensional space parallel to this one, but it's not real. It's not real. And so I pay attention. I look at the numbers. I look at what people do. I will look at what people say. I look at what y'all follow. Anthony says he doesn't like the idea of that, but I would agree that it's a more effective way of reaching maybe the masses. Yes, yes, but at the same time, and forgive me, I really wish you were on the phone or on screen with me right now, because that's kind of relevant to my point. I can't sit and read the chat without doing a 2-hour show and address every individual question and know that I'm even meeting your question without some human interaction. And so these people with 17,000, 20,000, okay, how much human interaction takes place when you got that many followers? Listen, I love me some Sherry Shepherd. Great example if you're on Twitter. Sherry Shepherd will follow anybody. Sherry Shepherd will say hello, happy birthday, how you doing to anybody. But even Sherry Shepherd ain't got so many hours in the day. And so when does she have time to do her own show and film it? Take care of her children, manage her life. And when you're Wendy Williams or Sherry Shepherd in front of a TV screen, without that live audience, you don't care about a response. The response is, are they buying the advertiser's products? I don't sell product. I share advertisers. I talk about Treme Coffee House as much as possible. People support Treme Coffee House, but that don't pay my bills. I get zero for supporting Treme Coffee House. I get zero for supporting Our Sacred Story. Zero. Zero. Some of my good friends, some of whom I will not name because this isn't about me and other people, varying degrees of success, varying degrees of celebrity in social media, all of whom I'm referencing have high volumes of numbers. They don't care about you. They don't care about you. They care about, are you buying those products, because they are being supported by the sponsors. I have no sponsors. My sponsors are my community that love me enough to support me, those who respect me enough, trust me enough to send an offering for a reading or donation or service. And then some of you, I am cutting off, not even taking a request from the gate out. I've done that a few times in the last 60 days. It has not gone well, by the way. I'm not impressed with how much money you have or what you can spend. I'm only impressed with your commitment to this culture, to this practice, to this tradition, and your ability to make it real and relevant and alive in your reality. I'm not here no longer to feed people who want to keep this in the closet. That ain't what I'm doing. I'm not here any longer to feed you so you can show up on TikTok as a black witch. I'm not here for that. Not here for that. And listen, I'm paying attention. I'm paying attention. I go into the read. Y'all packing the room for a read. Y'all packing the room for me to go off. Y'all packing the room for me to, okay, well, I can do that in 3 minutes. I can do that in a 2-minute video. I can do that on TikTok like everybody else does and keep it moving. There ain't a whole lot of teaching and reaching the masses in that format. And Anthony, many of the masses who you are referencing, they dibbling here, they dabbling here, there, they doing a little bit of this. They not committed anywhere. Anywhere. They're only committed to buying products, to include music, video, etc. So yeah, I will make videos that people will have to pay for. The subscription YouTube channels are doing well. Well. People on Patreon doing well. But Anthony, too many people show up. They want it free. They want it easy. They don't want a commitment. They don't want me to know who they are, because for me to know who you are is a commitment, right? For me to know your name and then to see you and to not acknowledge you by your name is a problem, right, guys? Initiative. We have a relationship now. She's one of my family. Okay, but in this virtual reality, this meta reality, don't have to know your name, don't have to know your face. I could be a avatar as far as some of you are concerned, based on the numbers. Based on the numbers. Evolution is indeed the only direction. Craig Burns, I agree, 100%. So this isn't about me cutting off certain people. This is about evolution. I can't give those who are doing the work the energy and attention they need feeding the fickle. Well, I'm just trying to do a little research. I'm just looking into, well, go have at it, girl. Have at it, my brother. Google, Bing, Encyclopedia, Library your ass off. Why do I have to give you the quick, easy answer to it in chat, DM, email, whatever? And some of you are honest about it. I'm doing a high school paper. I'm in college. I'm writing on. Some of y'all are very honest about it, but a lot of y'all are not. And you think a head wrap and 25 Elekis on your neck and some tarot cards somehow makes you, I can't say somehow makes you legitimate, because y'all treat them like they're legitimate. Why they got 100,000 followers? Because y'all treat them like they're legitimate. Y'all like that entertainment. Y'all like that easy, quick, I ain't got to commit to this stuff, because at the end of the day, I better show up in church on Sunday, or grandma gonna beat my butt. It's not a judgment. Do you? It's not a judgment. Do you? I got many Muslims, Christians, Jews in my life, in my family, in my inner circle. We don't have no conflict. We don't argue. We don't debate about the truth. We don't debate about the scriptures, whomever scripture of the day we pulling from. Elevate. Elevation. That's it. Absolutely, I'm doing the midnight meditation daily. I'm still on the fence about the midnights, but I'm sorry, about the weekends, but yeah, daily. I'm doing all the podcasts daily. Noon, midnight. That's the even balance for me, right? I can eat, I can sleep, I can handle my business, I can attend to my ministry. 8 a.m., 15 minutes, but it's, morning coffee, it's the wake up, and based on what I'm receiving in terms of feedback, y'all don't care if I open the mic. Y'all don't care if I open the phone lines. As long as I'm talking for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, y'all are good. So I'm learning to adapt to even morning coffee, the Goddess Initiative, that 15-minute wake up at 8 a.m. Central Time. Okay. All right now, hickory dickory dock. Okay, girlfriend. Yeah, that's yeah. In all fairness, the chat, you all aren't speaking. You all aren't mic. You all aren't camera. You all have time to read random comments. I don't. And when the random comments aren't specific to what I'm talking about, it then becomes a distraction. And then I'm thrown off from the topic. And then someone calls in and wants me to do a reading on their cat. And I'm talking about the ancestors. It's all just too much for you all not to be more involved in the process. That's what I'm saying. Oh yeah, honest. Yes, I too am a child of oh yeah. Listen, if y'all got a problem with what I'm doing, if you have a problem with my transformation, I learned this from one of my godmothers, the beloved Voodoo Priestess Ava K. Jones. If you don't like it, if you got a problem with it, if you don't know how to handle it, take it up with oh yeah. Take it up with oh yeah. Yeah, they're broke, they're struggling, which we all know because they talk about it in social media. They got so many followers. They're such a powerful reader, and they're such a powerful psychic, and they doing it. They ain't on legitimate TV anywhere. They aren't documented legally, legitimately anywhere. There aren't any public discernible, filtered comments or ratings about them anywhere, and they're just a distraction. They're just a distraction. While many are truly seeking in desperation. Yeah, it takes a lot of a person, Neophyte Bokur, with no replenishment. One of the people who's been here and who's seen it, God's Initiative, been here, seen it. Craig Burns, been here, seen it. They know exactly what I'm talking about. They understand exactly what I mean. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. When you're doing that well, Oprah don't care if you follow her or not. The fact that she has as many followers that she does is because she's a public figure, she's on TV, and you create lines of connection and entanglement with public figures in your head, in your own imagination. I've experienced it myself. I've experienced it myself. And you get an idea in your head about who I am and what I am and what I represent and what my dreadlocks meant to you and what my wearing a beard or shaving my beard means to you. You develop your own entanglements to these public figures, often based on untruths, misinformed reality, and sometimes a misinterpretation of often what's right in your face, what's most obvious. So I know I've already gone 15 minutes beyond my show time, but I've done so to, I guess, get my rant on public record. Anthony says the age of hypocrisy. I just ask y'all give our generation some time. The world got a tight hold. I just came to know I need grounding. Anthony, listen, I'm speaking directly to you. I get it. I don't believe I am pressuring your generation. I don't believe personally that I am critical of your generation. And particularly when I say your generation, you as a representative of your generation who's able to say exactly what you're saying now, who's able to come here and say, I just need to know. I'm just learning. I'm just okay. That's not my complaint. My complaint is the fakes, the people who are exactly in your position, but are pretending to be elevated, pretending to be readers, pretending to be, great seers who are receiving money for readings, who are charging for services, who are not trained, who are not even old enough to have a foundation in many of these traditions. And then the fact that many of your generations are flooding them with their dollars. That's my complaint. Flooding them with your dollars, flooding them with your likes. Again, 50,000 followers, 100,000 followers. Why? Because too many of your friends, Anthony, find it entertaining. Too many of your friends, Anthony, think that it's real. Think that it's on point, it's lit, it's fire, it's what's happening right now. I just spent, oh God, an hour and something of my life right before the show that I'll never get back. A brother who apparently is in the Nation of Islam, maybe was in the Nation of Islam. I never could figure that out. He was presenting himself as the host of a show, thereby suggesting some degree of aptitude in the topic. But he had a co-host on, a visitor on, who was powerful. I mean, powerful. But the host, you know what I mean? 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 Every 15 seconds, he would say, no, we don't know what you mean. And that's why you keep saying it, because you don't know what you mean. And you're trying to convince not only me, but yourself that you know what you mean. And the guest couldn't have been more gracious. Never at once lost his position. And again, Anthony, I'm talking about a brother probably your age or around your age with the co-host who was probably, I don't know, 35 maybe, but had the patience of Job, as my grandmama used to say. So I think sometimes, when a speaker is speaking, I'm use myself as an example, I acknowledge, using myself, I acknowledge the diversity of the listening audience. There are those who's listening to me right now who get it 100%, who don't need to hear me to repeat it, who are here for the meat and the potatoes. But I need you all to understand that every day there are new people coming in. There is a much larger, younger generation watching and observing us. They don't understand volume 12 of the encyclopedia if they're just coming into the conversation. So I have to cycle and recycle enough newness to capture them, for them to get it, for them to understand, and then bring them into the conversation. But if my established audience is not willing to pick up a phone, is not willing to turn on your webcam, maybe they have time to read your comments, but that's not always good. It's not always beneficial. People come into the chat and pop all kind of stuff into the chat for various motivations and reading and reasons. It's about themselves, So I don't expect them to come in and sort of gather that learning from the chat. And you aren't either. You're coming expecting it from me. I've been told by some of you that the chat is a distraction. I've been told by some of you to turn off the chat, to prevent y'all from coming here and chatting at all, because they see it as a distraction to the material. And again, if I'm going to come and talk for 2 hours, 3 hours, lecture, preach, minister, teach, the least y'all can do is what my clients do: document, record, and listen. And at the end of the day, respect the voodoo. And so, yeah, I tried Patreon to guide us. You were around. You remember? Y'all were too willing to come and get it for free to support the Patreon. I haven't signed into Patreon. I don't even remember when I signed into Patreon last. Yes, their loss, unfortunately, that is the masses, the lostness, Anthony. And the community is weak. But these microwave things are strong, and they keep coming. Yeah, and they are the future. NFTs are coming, and more complex avatars are coming. You know, shapeshifters, which will also be appropriating our material while they go along, and then regurgitating that material, in a catchy microwave format. Yeah. Yeah, I do what I love, most certainly, but I also have to survive and hold a ministry together, which requires business, which requires math, which requires administrative aptitude, which requires a whole host of skill sets that your social media tarot readers do not have: empathy, sympathy, experience, knowledge, wisdom, training, therapeutic application and understanding, psychological and psychiatric training and understanding, mental health training, experience, and understanding. Your social media readers don't have none of that. Zero. They're only here to entertain. Yeah, it's real. Yeah, it's real. Thank you all. I certainly appreciate you. I'm going to keep it moving. Always a blessing, intuitively in sync. Greetings. Thank you so much for coming by. Yes, the show starts at 12 noon U.S. Central Standard Time. I appreciate my international audience who gets up at all hours of the day and night to be present. I'm certainly grateful. Intuitively in sync finds now with his spiritual journey has been extremely difficult. For him, he feels it has been removing the Jehovah Witness indoctrinations off. Yeah, and those, Jehovah Witness, Catholic, evangelical, Christian, uh, you know, dynamics are prevalent in the world. There's a dynamic of this audience that says, well, I don't go to church. My mom and them didn't take us to church, yada, yada, yada. But you got $1 in your pocket that says, in God we trust on it. You acknowledge Christmas, Easter, all these Greco-Roman Christianized holidays and systems. It's ingrained, in the world. So it takes a great deal of conscious work to do so. Muhammad Ali, I would most certainly be happy to accommodate you. All you need to do is follow the information present now on the screen. Send me your email request, and I'll be more than happy to assist you. www.houseofthedivineprince.com. Yeah, I am Goddess Initiative. Thank you. I'm talking about the babies who haven't gained the wisdom you can only gain through age, time, experience. But I'm also speaking to, an older group of people who, for whatever reason, their only concern is the dollar, or their only reason, concern is uh, resources and material things. And so they're quick to, sell you stuff. Everybody has an online Botanica now. Everybody is selling, something now. And that's not because it's just trendy to sell stuff. It's just trendy for y'all to be buying stuff. Thank you, Craig Burns. I'm pitching to all levels on the internet. Um, that has been my goal, to speak to the babies, to speak to the intermediate, level, to speak to the, more advanced level. That has been my goal. But again, you can't feed everybody, and especially when that's not being supported, reciprocated in this format. Often my godchildren and my initiates are seeking. They find me by way of a Google search. They might find the Blog Talk Radio, they might find the podcast, but usually it's through a search. Usually it's through their interest in finding someone qualified. And then those people stick with me. Social media doesn't necessarily gain you longevity and commitment. Those of you think you're going to find a man, a woman, long-term love on the internet doesn't feed that. The internet feeds what's temporary, most immediate, most in the moment, most instantaneous, most instantly gratifying, not longevity. Listen, I appreciate the note taking, intuitively in sync. I do, but it's also a problem for me. There's a whole community of people who are out there note taking who never acknowledge me whatsoever, who never even do what you're doing right now, who never pick up the phone, who never turn on the camera, who never, reach out to me for service. They got 50,000 followers and try to pretend like the information that they're disseminating belongs to them. See, on that hand, oh, who cares on that hand? But everybody cares. You all are following and supporting them. A like might as well be $1. A follow might as well be $1. Because at the end of the day, if you have 100,000 followers, at least a percentage of that is going to support you. It's math. It's real simple math. Yeah, Patreon is, I predicted, if you remember, maybe a year ago, that Patreon is going to go under quickly and very soon. So I certainly appreciate you all. I am 30 minutes past my end time, but I'm grateful for your attendance and your support, your love. I pray that you hear me, that you understand me, that you get it, and adjust accordingly. Until next time, all is truly and indeed a blessing.